This is a rocket stove. It might just look like an ordinary log, but with a hole drilled both horizontally and vertically, it now becomes a rocket stove. All you have to do is create a small fire in the top and watch it burn. The hole down here will allow air to draw through and feed the fire. Well, I have no idea if this is gonna work, but my plan is to turn that mound into one of these. Yes, a rocket stove, which I might actually turn into an outdoor cooking area once I've finished building this awesome project. And that project is building a house using free or reclaimed materials. I've managed to find windows, a wood stove, a sink, chimney pipe, pallet wood which are ripped apart and used for the flooring, and a few other bits which will all eventually go into the straw-baled, cob-walled, thatched roofed house. If you haven't already, then please make sure you're subscribed and follow the build. Right, now let's get back to digging out these holes. And just like this log rocket stove, I'll be digging out a hole both vertically and horizontally. And to do that, I'm going to use this. Right. So I've managed to dig it out quite deep. I've probably dug it out deeper than I actually need it. But I realised halfway through that this wasn't really doing the job once I reached about that depth. So I decided to get a bit of oak, I shaved it down to a point, and that's what I've been using to scrape out and allow me to get a bit deeper down into the hole. And actually works really well. I also managed to dig through an ant's nest, which means I've got ants all over me. And just to show you, this is a bit of pallet wood. That is how deep it is. Alright, so I've gone back to using a stick because it's going to give me a bit more reach. Right, I think I'm getting quite close to that central hole. If I use my stick, I can work out how far I am. Oh, probably about that much more to go. But is it going to work? And my biggest worry is that the whole thing will just cave in. Right, Amber, over to you. Go on then, dig, dig, dig. Oh, how great is that? Amber's helping me dig the hole. Come on, Amber, you need to reach in a bit further. Right, I think we're really, really close to getting to the wall or the inside hole. Not far. Right. Bit more, bit more. Watch out, Amber, can I have a go? Not yet. Almost. Oh, I think I've just broken through. So now that the 2 holes have been dug, it's now time to light a fire. So rather than use this straw behind me, I've got a bit of pallet wood. This is leftover pallet wood from the flooring that I've been recently putting down in this off-grid cabin. So to light the fire, I'm going to use one of my fire steels, as well as a bit of bark, a bit of silver birch bark. This is great when it comes to fire lighting. As soon as that catches, I'll be putting on small bits of wood, slightly bigger bits of wood, and then larger bits of wood. So let's see if this is actually going to work. So it might have just started raining, but that's not going to stop me from giving this a try. So this is my silver birch bark, and I'm going to use this to strike onto it. There we go. Place a bit more of this over the top. And then I'm just going to pin it down and take it over here. So what should happen shortly is the heat will build up and then draw through, and that'll naturally just fuel the fire. And if you look through this hole, you can just about see the fire which I've pushed all the way to the back. And that just goes to show that even on a wet and rainy day like today, it's still possible to turn a mound of wet soil into a rocket stove. Right, time to cook up some burgers. Okay, so that happened 2 days ago, and since then, there's been a downpour of rain for about 48 hours. And even though it was raining, I gave it a good try, stuck with it, and eventually I managed to get a flame, but I wasn't too happy with the flame. It just didn't seem like this was drawing properly. So I've come back here today, and not only have I scraped out the coal from the other day, but I've also scraped the walls to make them slightly wider, just to improve the air circulation coming in through that horizontal hole. And what I love about this is how clean and how pure that flame is. The smoke is almost non-existent. It's a great way to create a stealth fire. And it just goes to show that you can turn a wet mound of soil into a rocket stove. So the great thing about rocket stoves is that they burn really cleanly and really efficiently. A great thing to have if you're ever trying to avoid people detecting where you're camping and having a little fire for the night. Time for a cup of tea. So yeah, once these coals die down, I could even take a grill, put some food on there, cook over it, or even a frying pan. The great thing about these is just how little smoke there is created, and the amount of heat that comes out of there is unreal. It took about a minute to boil this kettle. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much if you're still watching. Don't forget, give this a try. If you have a land, if you have a mound of soil, give this a try. It's incredibly efficient. You can see how clean that smoke burns. A great way to have a fire if you're out camping and you're trying to avoid people from finding you. On that note, thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you want to see the build, follow the build of the round cobbed house. And if not, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.